Following the recent fire at Weston Super Mare, I decided to venture to other piers across the UK to find out how they've coped in similar situations. Each pier has its own story to tell, each slightly different to that of Weston Super Mare, but there are certainly lessons to be learnt. My journey started at Southend Pier, the longest pier in the world. Southend Pier has suffered 4 major fires. In 2005, the pier was gutted by fire. But 3 years on, there is still a long way to go. Just along the south coast in Southsea, South Parade Pier has proved its resilience to fire, having survived 3 separate blazes. The most famous was in 1974, during the filming of Tommy. Luckily, the production company's insurance covered the cost of repairs, and it wasn't long before the pier was up and running again.
We're here in Southsea on South Parade Pier. It's interesting to note that this pier was actually built in the 1800s and suffered a massive fire in the early 1900s. It's been here all that time as a focal point for the seafront. Southsea wouldn't be Southsea without South Parade Pier. What I'd say to the people of Weston is that please make sure you have some input into what happens to the rebuilding of your pier.
Unlike Weston's Grand Pier, Brighton's West Pier stood derelict awaiting a revamp when it caught fire in 2003. However, tourism bosses have found that without even rebuilding the pier, it's proved a hit attraction among visitors.
I'd say to the people of Weston Super Mare not to give up. It's a devastating thing to happen, especially in peak seasons as it is now. I think eventually it could be seen as a bit of an opportunity because the pavilion can be rebuilt and new attractions can be brought in, it can be modernised.
With the full support of the town behind them, Grand Pier owners are sure to get the pier up and running before long. So the outlook is a promising one for Weston Super Mare, according to the people who really know.
I'd like to think that in years to come people will look back at this awful event as maybe the beginning of a new future for the pier.